Hey guys, and welcome back to a semi big innings here because Nate and I, with just days away from Major League Cricket, well, we got travel plans going on, and we figured we have to get this out to you guys before we get on flights and get into some hotel rooms. So we're here over Zoom to give you some more of our projected 11s. Nate, thank you for joining me at this late hour that we're recording this, but for everyone watching, it's a pretty decent time. We decided we're going to do the Seattle Orcas and the New York franchise today. Nate, you have the Orcas, and this was a tough task.
This was a really tough test. This was one of the hardest teams to do, if you ask me. I think, well, and you are asking me, but it was definitely one of the hardest teams to do. So much of this team, if you ask me, depends on the wickets we're going to see.
Sure.
And I don't see a true super fast bowler. Like, maybe that's unfair to say, considering the fact that some of these teams have the elite fastest bowlers in the world on them. But I don't see a true fast, express like you see on those teams. So you're going to I think a lot of this depends on the wicket, and I'm picking my team based on as balanced as I can make it. And I love that, me, I love the lefty righty batting partnerships. And so I kind of went a little bit crazy with this team. But I think it makes sense. Makes sense to me. We'll see how Dane picks me apart next time we see him and how you pick me apart. But I'm going to start off, and I'm going to say that you got to say that the biggest cinch on this team for making the playing 11 is Quentin de Kock. I have him
Yep.
opening. He's a wicket keeper, obviously. I have him opening the batting from the left side. Then with him, I wanted to pair a right-handed batter with Quentin de Kock, and I've got Aaron Jones ahead of Naman Anwar. Now, this is a more natural position probably for Naman Anwar, but Aaron's played this in T20 before with Team
Mhm.
USA. He's batted in this position, and I think with his style, I think he's a little bit slower at the start of his innings. We both know that. He's turned it up a little bit recently in T20
Yeah.
format, especially in minor league cricket, but he is slower at the start. And when you have him paired with a Quentin de Kock, he loves to run. Aaron loves to run singles. He's going to be happy to get Quentin de Kock on strike. And I wanted to put him at number 2 instead of at maybe it didn't make sense to put him at 4 with the other guys that I have on this team. And it didn't make sense for me to put him at number 6 either. Just because I think he might put the brakes on an innings a little bit too much. After
Sure.
him, I've got Shimron Hetmeyer, left-handed batter from West Indies. We all know about him. He's batted all over batting orders, all over, up and down orders in his career in T20 cricket. And in this case, I loved the flexibility that he gave me. I considered putting him with the Cock to open, but I wanted to stagger the lefties a little bit, give the bowling team a bit of trouble. And then after him, I've got Heinrich Klaassen. This is, I mean, I just said Quentin de Kock was a surefire thing on it was the surest fire thing on this team, but I don't know
Sure.
if you get more surefire than right now than Heinrich Klaassen. He's
Yep.
one of the best cricketers in the world right now. He's just absolutely phenomenal, and batting on the right side. I'm curious to see. We probably won't see him bowl, but I got him batting on the right side there at number 4 position, which is a position he's dominant in. And the big thing for me was I didn't want to take one of the best players in the world out of his spot. You want to give him
Sure.
his spot. Next up, I've got left-handed batter Shehan Jayasuriya. We know Shehan Jayasuriya is fantastic. We know that because we cover minor league cricket. We're all about minor league cricket. We have a big history of following him. We've seen what he can do with the bat and with the ball. He's also a very good right arm off break
Very
bowler.
underrated. Very
He's
underrated for
very
sure.
underrated with the ball, and he's going to probably be needed in this team because you have a lot of guys turning the ball the other direction in the team that I've put together here. So I've got Shehan batting at number 5. Now, we know in minor league he bats at the top of the order. He's either an
Sure.
opener or he's batting number 3, but we also know how good he is against spin bowling. He's fantastic to watch against spin bowling, and I think that that's going to suit him really well at the number 5 spot. I think you can bat this guy just about anywhere, and that's not to say he's bad at fast bowling. I was talking to Silicon Valley Strikers, his minor league team, about him, and I was like, his faces spin so much, but he's so dominant against spin. Why do teams continue to bowl spin against him? And they told me, well, because they're afraid of what he'll do to the fast bowlers. So
Well, it should be. You see some of the shots he plays, it's just ostentatious to say the least.
yeah, it's ostentatious for sure. Next up, I got Shubham Ranjani, who was the outstanding player of minor league cricket finals. He was great in that playoffs. He can bat just about anywhere himself. He's nice and steady. He battles, and he's a good right arm medium bowler. So I put him in the team. He went pretty high in the draft as well. So I think that they're gonna bank on him. Harmeet Singh, I've got next, batting at number 7, a left-handed batter. So you can see that I've gone left, right, left, right, left, right, left up until this point. So I've got Harmeet Singh. We know he was pinched up the order for the Seattle minor league team this last year and helped them get into the playoffs. If it wasn't for his batting, they would have made the playoffs. And then when he made the playoffs, he was fantastic and helped lead the team to the championship in minor leagues, which is no small task. It's a very competitive league, and he was absolutely dominant in it. Well, he's going to get his quota of bowling, if you ask me. We have a country full of brilliant, slow left-arm orthodox bowlers, and I don't know if there's any better than Harmeet Singh. Next up at number 8, I've got Dwayne Pretorius, right arm medium fast bowler, right-handed batter. And this is it's a luxury having a Dwayne Pretorius bat number 8. You can see how deep this team bats that I put together here. It's a very deep batting team. And I actually considered putting in Cameron Gannon instead of Aaron Jones for a little bit more variety in the fast bowling attack because of his height. But I'm going to stick with this. So Pretorius batting at number 8. He's played in, I think, 8 IPL games the last 2 years. So he's one to look out for. Now, that was a tough choice because I was considering Dasun Shanaka, who his batting is better than Pretorius is, honestly. I just didn't.
I would agree.
Yeah, I just thought that, Pretorius, I believe, is a better bowler. Then I got Ahmad Wasim. Well, it's not fair for me to say that. Pretorius, I think, right now fits this team better as a bowler. Next up, I got Ahmad Wasim. We need another spinner in this team. We already have Harmeet Singh, as I said. Now, this is a little bit duplicative. I was thinking about putting in Hayden Walsh Jr. here, and you know how much I love Hayden Walsh Jr. To me, it's kind of a toss-up. I put in Wasim here because he's just been so phenomenal internationally and in the T20 game. I think he gets the edge here for me right now. I do think we're not going to see 5 games go by before Hayden Walsh Jr. gets in this team. I think he's going to be in the team. He's the best fielder in the competition, probably, or one of the top 2 or 3 fielders in the entire competition. So I think we're going to see him in the team. But right now, I've got Ahmad Wasim. And then I have Wayne Parnell at number 10. Imagine this. You have Wayne Parnell at number 10. Now, this is an interesting thing because Wayne Parnell was named the captain of this team. And I think a lot of people were expecting that maybe a Quentin DeCock was going to be a captain of this team or something like that. But it ended up being Wayne Parnell. And so his place in the team is cemented. As a left-arm medium-fast bowler, I think that's not a bad option. You're going to need a left-arm fast bowler in this team. And so Wayne Parnell is very, very good. He's got a tremendous history. I think another thing that benefits him is he knows the players in this region so well. He knows all of our domestic players so well because he plays in this region so often. So I think having him as captain is pretty smart. Obviously, he knows the players around him on his team. So I think that's a pretty smart move. But yeah, I've got him batting at 10. I don't know if that's going to happen. I mean, we have like from 7 to 10, we have nothing but 7s.
Yeah, right. There's a lot of batting to go around. To your point about captains, though, we've seen a trend, right, of a lot more fast bowling or bowling all-rounding captains, right? Pat Cummins, Ben Stokes is more of a batting all-rounder now, Hardik Pandya. Sure. But yeah, these things are happening around the world, and makes sense to see it come into Major League Cricket.
Absolutely, yeah. I like the Parnell captaincy. He's good buddies with our good friend Dane Pete. I remember talking to him saying, "Hey, why don't you get Wayne Parnell here, for the Morrisville Raptors in minor league cricket? That would be pretty cool. Maybe we'll see that someday too." After him, I slipped in Fanny Samhadri into this team,
Love it.
leading
I love it.
leading wicket taker in minor league cricket last year for the champions for the Seattle team. So on this team, it's really cool. You got Ranjani, you got Harmeet Singh, you got Fani Samhadri. All of them played with the minor league Seattle team last year and won the championship. And here they are again playing for the Seattle Orcas. And interestingly, so Seattle had the first overall domestic pick in the draft, and they took Harmeet Singh with that pick. The second overall pick in the draft went to Washington, and they got Andres House, who played on that Seattle team. So
yeah.
That goes to show how good that team is. And, let's hope that they've made some inroads with the local fans, which we know they have there in Seattle, that this team with three players from that minor league team will help build a fan base there. But yeah, Fani Samhadri, I like to call him left arm mystery medium because of how
I love it. There's no better descriptor.
Yeah. Oh, he's so good with those cutters and with those slower balls. His quicker ball is his changeup. He loves the ball, that slower ball. A lot of people will poo-poo him and say, "Oh yeah, well wait till he gets on the right wickets." Wait till he gets on wickets that aren't helpful to him. Well, I've yet to see it. To be honest with you, I've seen him bowl on all kinds of wickets. He bowls a lot on Astro, or he did last year, and he dominated, which is hell on bowlers. And he led the league in wickets, took more death wickets than anyone else took wickets in the league. So so on the bench we've got Aaman Anwar, Angelo Pereira, Cameron Gannon, and Matthew Trump, the U23, as domestics. And I thought about putting in Angelo Pereira, but we just have so much slow left arm orthodox.
Sure.
Overseas, if you could do trades in this league, Angelo Pereira would be a good guy to trade somewhere for an off break bowler or something. You might want to look at Washington and try to trade for one of theirs, but they're not going to let him go. But
especially not our buddy Dane Pete, that's for sure.
No, Dane's going to bowl into this team. There's a lot of lefties on this team.
Team, yep.
So it might be helpful that they've got Wayne Parnell there. But Nisarg Patel, also, very good left arm off break bowler. So they added to that slow left arm orthodox position in Seattle even more depth. They've got 4 guys they can put in that spot. That's a little bit overkill if you ask me. To help their batters survive our buddy Dane Pete. But overseas I've got Dasun Shanaka, Andrew Tai. Oh, it was tough to leave him out. You know how much I love this guy.
Yeah, so good.
And then I got Kane Walsh Jr. For now. I think he's going to be in this team. I did almost a backflip when I heard he was involved in this league.
I saw the Instagram post and I was like, I just can't wait for Nate to text me. Oh, he's in the team. Hayden's here. Because I saw it and I was like, this is a Nate Hayes type of celebratory moment.
Yeah, well, I reached out to him right away and told him I'm excited to see him here. We've known him a while. He used to play for USA Cricket, and obviously he had that tremendous season with the Royals. Well, they were the Tridents in the Caribbean Premier League and won the MVP of the tournament, won the championship that year, and got put right into the West Indies team. And he's just a tremendous T20 player, great fielder, very athletic. He can bat a lot better than I think teams have given him chances to. Sure. Also batting from the left. And, I love those left-handed batters.
No, absolutely. Hayden, I think, will make his way onto the 11th at some point. Just for that, leg spin option. You could always use one. And I think he could definitely find his way into the 11 very, very quickly. So excited to see him. But I like the 11 you come up with. The 11 I came up with, there's a couple of changes. I had both Aaron Jones and Noman Anwar in that 11, and I did not have Fani Samadri in there. So I had Noman Anwar opening the batting with Quinn DeCock. I was just looking to give them the extra bit of batting up top because they have so many finishers. I felt like when you talk about the Hetmeyers, the Clausens, even the Shehan Jayasuryas and Harmeet Singhs or Jane can do that. I felt that if you can save them for that middle order, the more you can do up top is going to provide inroads. That's why I went Anwar there. I went with Aaron Jones. Kind of if you lose a couple early wickets, he's someone who can stabilize an innings. And Then again, everything else pretty much ran the same way yours did. Had Heinrich Clausen coming in there. I had him actually coming in at 5. That was the one change I made, was him coming in at 5. I think Aaron Jones at 4 makes sense for me, just to kind of stabilize an innings if it needs to be. I also think it's very flexible. This 11 also, I think you could easily flip it and both would have some success. And Clausen has batted at 5 overseas and has had a lot of success at 5 as well. Doesn't bat as nearly as high of a strike rate, but is still batting around 130. So I think that plenty to suffice, especially with the batting to come and Shehan and then Shubham, Harmeet Singh. And I think Shubham Ranjani to me is someone in this 11 who I put in there as your third pacer. And I think to me, he does what Funny Samadri does really well. He does mix it up. And I think he gives you that extra bit with the bat where, if it's 20 off the last over, he's shown in the last 12 months that he has the capability of doing it. I mean, he just kind of caught a purple patch almost when you talk about finishing games and Champions Open, minor league finals. Like, it just every single time they needed something, it felt like he delivered. And I think that's how he's going to find his way onto the team. I put Imad Wazim in there just like you did as the slow left arm. And I put him in there over Hayden Walsh. And I think it's for the batting right now. I think Hayden's a terrific bat, but the way Imad strikes the ball, if you can get him batting at 10, which you have in my 11, that's unreal to bat to that at number 10. And then Pretorius is in mine instead of Andrew Ty as well. I just think him with the ball is going to be really good, and then what he can deliver with the bat. So I think there's a lot of really good combinations here, but I think that this team is really deep, and I think that's the beautiful part about it is they have a lot of options because their middle order I think is so stacked.
Yeah, that's the big thing to me is their middle order and their tail is so deep. And actually, I kind of used the same reasoning when I decided to open with Aaron Jones. Was I thought I used similar reasoning to you. We just came to a different conclusion. My thinking was just put him at the top where you can afford to ease in and have him preserve the wicket there, and then after him it's just a barrage. After that it's just everybody here. Can score pretty quickly. I'm not saying, hey, Aaron can't. We saw what he did in the minor league final. We've seen what he can do. I think you can get away with someone being a little slow up top when you've got Cox, Imran Hetmeyer, and Heinrich Klassen all around you. It makes sense to put him at the 4 position where you have him. I think you have him at 4, right?
Yeah, I have him at 4, sitting right after Hetmeyer.
That's more of his natural spot. But yeah, I think our teams are pretty close, and I think we both agree it's going to depend on the wicket here.
Absolutely.
If the wicket goes a little bit more in favor of fast bowlers, let's say, then I definitely gonna think about putting Cameron Gannon in the team over one of the others, over either Fani or Shubham Ranjani even.
Ranjani, yeah. No, I agree. I think that's the one area you think this team kind of lacks is they have some of the overseas guys that can bowl some pace, but in terms of the domestics, they didn't really go after it. They went with a lot more of the, change up kind of bowlers, if you will, in Ranjani, in Funny. And so Cameron Gannon will be relied on if there is, a lot of bounce and a lot of pace on these wickets, which he's a very tall bowler and he can extract a lot of bounce. So if it is a bouncy wicket, I would expect him to be plugged in straight away just because of the amount of bounce he can extract.
Sure, and a lot of these guys are warming up down in Houston at PVCC, and I think
it's a little different, those wickets. I think
it's a little different. I think than what Dallas is going to do. I think you don't want to get too comfortable with the PVCC wickets because I think Prairie View Cricket Complex, for those who don't know, but those wickets are going to be a little bit slower, I think, than the Dallas venue, based on the couple of balls we've seen on Instagram, which isn't a whole lot. But that outfield flies. That outfield absolutely flies. So I think you got a little bit more firmer of a wicket over there in Dallas, and so I wouldn't be surprised to see Shubham or Funny out and Cameron Gannon in. Or, you've got so much batting on this team. You can even take out Aaron Jones and slide everybody up a little bit if you want to. So there's a lot of flexibility on this team. I think the big question mark to me is two question marks is, do you want to bat a ton of lefties all in a row? That's that's one of the
Sure.
questions.
Yeah.
I think we're gonna see this team adapt to who they're playing a lot.
Yeah.
I think you'll see some fluidity in this team, in this roster.
No, absolutely. Again, I think the questions for me would also be, do you want the leg spinner in there versus the two slow arm? And then, what's the wicket doing? Do you want the extra bit of pace, or are you okay
Sure.
with the change ups? But again, very deep team. It'll be interesting to see how they adjust to whoever they're playing. We'll move over to the opposite coast, though, kind of the same line, maybe same longitude. We'll go to the MI New York side, where they also, I feel like, have a lot of options. And I feel like they drafted and selected their players almost as replacements for each other. Like if one guy was to go, they have someone to fill that role. And they're going to need that straight away because Rashid Khan will not be available for the first part of this tournament. So that leaves a couple of question marks, right? He obviously was going to be in the 11 whenever he's in there. So I've made two 11s, one for no Rashid Khan and one for Rashid Khan. So we'll start out with the no Rashid Khan one. And I'm opening the batting with two domestics. I'm going Steven Taylor and Monik Patel, the lefty righty combination up top the order, both of whom have opened for the USA in the past. Monik will bat one down or opening. Either way, I think for him is going to be just fine and comfortable. At 3, I've gone with DeWalt Brevis, the youngster out of South Africa, and he also gives you some off break as well as Steven Taylor, who give you off break as well from the right arm. So there you go, some bowling options, and you got two big bats there as well. I think the Brevis at 3, that's kind of his natural position. Buran,
Yeah.
to me, slides in at 4. There's another left-hander just for you, Nate, the left-right combinations sliding in and out. Then I go to Tim David, someone's story who is just kind of flooded all over the ICC. What he's done now and now representing Australia, what he's done all over the world. For me,
Right.
he comes in at 5. Then I'll put Kyron Pollard in at 6. And again, just that finishing role where he's really comfortable. That's where you see the Mumbai Indians franchise really shine in the IPL is when they're 4, 5, 6 kind of really fires at all levels. And they also usually have 7 that can kind of do the same. And I've gone with Hamad Azam at 7, the MVP of the league a couple of years ago, minor league cricket, of course, and someone who can deliver with both bat and ball, some right arm pace, and can hammer it away, from the right side. And I think he is a great option there at 7 to be your third pacer and to be someone who can deliver with the bat. Speaking of delivering with the bat, I've gone to Nashla Skenjige here at the number 8 spot. We talked about Hayden Walsh Jr. maybe being the best fielder in this. Nash is going to have something to say about that as well. So good in the field, and he's developed everywhere else as well. The bowling, I think, has really come to fruition. With the bat, I think he's batting, better than he really ever has. He has more shots to choose from, and I think for that reason, to be a slow left arm and to just provide something with the bat as well at 8, I think he's going to fit right in. And again, no Rashid Khan, so you're searching for spin options, and he won't have to bowl his full quota because you have DeWald Brevis and Steven Taylor to choose from. You can kind of split overs, and you still have some batting in Nosh as well. Then I go with Trent Bolt sitting there as your left arm fast. He's going to come in, open, swing the ball back into the right hander, and hopefully make some early inroads. And alongside him would be Kaiso Rabada. Again, one of the quickest in the world. And when he's firing at all cylinders, there really is no better bowler to watch in world cricket. I think those two, that's your premier start. Those are your first 4 overs. Those are your last 4 overs. And now you're just filing overs in between. And we're still missing a leg spinner. And this is what I'm talking about. I think they drafted really well because I'm going to domestic and I'm going with Sarbjit Ladda, someone who showed in the Champions Open his ability to take wickets. Is very different kind of leg spinner than Rashid Khan, though. Rashid Khan, quicker through the air, pushes it through, while Ladda flights it up, loops it, dares the batters to hit down the ground, and is able to turn it through his loop and deceives batters in flight. So that's my no Rashid Khan 11 for New York start the tournament.
Great. Well, yeah, that's a very good looking team. I've got a couple things different from you. I've got Brevis at number 3 makes sense. I think he's going to bowl a lot.
Yeah.
For New York, I think he's going to bowl a lot. In this team. Also, Steven Taylor leading off, opening the batting. bowling right arm off break, he's going to get his quota, I think, or close to it. So I think you got a lot of bowling there already, even in the absence of a lot of spin bowling there already, even in the absence of Rashid Khan. And then you got Nosh Kanjigi, who's in this team for certain without a Rashid Khan, if you ask me. I think I got him at number, where do I have him? I've got him at number 8 also. And Hamad Azam, I have that one as well. I've got Trent Bolt and Rabada. And then instead of Lada, I've got Ahsan Adil. So that's where we've got a little bit of a difference, because I think the spin bowling is going to be enough with what they have in the team otherwise.
Sure.
And I think Ahsan Adil has just been so good in minor league cricket.
Absolutely.
One of the best 5, fast bowlers in the country domestically, and I think he deserves to be in the team. Now, another difference I have is you've got Monank Patel at number 2. I am tempted to put Shayan Jahangir in there because of how well he did in the qualifier, the World Cup qualifier. He was one of the few bright spots for USA Cricket. So I'm tempted there, but I think I'm probably still going to go with Monank. It's going to depend on, I think, what the camp sees in the next couple of days, because they haven't been there very long. They just got there. So
yeah,
it's going to depend. I think when you have the captain of USA, I think you're going to lean towards playing him. And we know that J. Aaron Kumar is involved in this team, and I think that he'll probably lean towards Monank to start with. But I wouldn't be surprised to see Jahangir in there at some point. I think he deserves a shot the way he's been playing.
No, I think he is at the top of his form at the moment. And so to see him there would not be surprising at all. I do think it is going to be 2 domestics up there, whether that's Monank or Shayan. And, maybe it is Monank and Shayan, and Stephen Taylor gets left out altogether. I don't necessarily see that happening. Stephen being your first round pick and all, and also giving you that bowling option. I like the inclusion of Ahsan Adil. He's a wicket taking option, and I think Sarjeet Ludda is also a wicket taking option. So I think it's just, like we said, what does the wicket offer on that particular day? Are you seeing a lot of movement? Because if there is a lot of movement off the surface, there's no better bowler to pick than Ahsan Adil for what he's able to do sideways.
Oh,
but if it is a little bit slower, if it's a slower wicket, maybe a Sarjeet Ludda, just for the way he bowls, sticks in the surface, slows it down. I think that's, again, I think this is another squad that could depend on what the wicket's doing.
Yeah, and we've got also Kyle Phillip in the team. We know that there's been controversy around him. Hopefully he gets his action together with this unit. Hopefully they help him a little bit, give him the what he needs to get through that. But they also picked up Jesse Singh recently.
Yeah.
So that's
they did
something
and
I'm excited
he could
about.
be interesting to have. For sure. He's, again, someone who can bowl a different variety of pace bowling. I think he's someone who's a little bit more hit the deck a little bit harder, bounce up on you, and also can skid it on as well. Well, now that we have the no Rashid Khan 11 out of the way, let's get the star back in the lineup. They're going to get him back at some point, they hope, and we should expect. And we had to have an 11 ready for that. So my 11 changes just a little bit, right? Only 6 overseas allowed. The opening pair, they stay the same. For me, the big question was at number 3. I think the question comes to Wald Brevis or Nicholas Buren. And I think in most situations, I would have gone to the Wald Brevis. But I think Nicholas Buren right now is in some of the best form. The way he was betting in those Cricket World Cup qualifiers, I thought he really discovered how he wanted to play cricket and is playing at such a high confidence level that I just can't take him out of an 11. So to me, he plugs in at 3. Tim David will come in at 4. Kyron Pollard comes in at 5. Rashid Khan comes in at 6. We've seen he's more than capable with the bat in hand, has done in the IPL, scoring a 50 against the Mumbai Indians itself. And then Hamad Azam will plug in at 7, Nosh at 8, 9, and then Bolt 10, Rabada 11, and Hazam obviously would have been 8. I just can't count properly. That's just a struggle of mine. But other than that, that would be my 11 for for a Rashid Khan available Mumbai. And obviously I'm leaving out the likes of David Weiss, a Jason Behrendorf, and obviously the DeWald Brevis, and from the domestic point of view, leaving out a Ahsan Adil, a Sarjeet Ludda, a Shayan Jahangir, a Kyle Phillip, and a Jesse Singh.
Yeah, that's Man, it would be cool to see David Visa playing in this, because
It
of
would be
his.
cool to see David Wisa playing in this.
It would be cool, but like this team just looks it's so hard to crack this team. And
Yeah.
you know, you might have seen me looking at yours and making some changes, and then nope, the same. I'm going with the same. I agree with you. The one thing I might change is, and this is where Brevis has a real chance to shine. Going without Rashid Khan to start, he has a chance. If he goes out there, scores
Sure.
a couple of 50s, or whatever, if he goes out there and just lights the world on fire, he's going to stay in the team, I bet. Because this
Yeah.
is a short tournament. You don't want to mess with somebody when they're on fire. Forget about the advanced stats. Go with the hot hand is what I say in this case. And Brevis would stay in the team if he's hot. And if he does stay in the team and he's hot, you got some difficult choices to make. You have some really difficult choices to make because Pollard's not coming out. He's the captain. So who do you take out? And I think you would take out either Tim David or Trent Bolt. If Tim David's not performing well, if Tim David's on fire too, then you have to make another decision. And maybe you take out Trent Bolt and you put in Aasan Adil in that case. But it all depends on who's doing what. That's like I saw your face there.
Right.
It's tough to take Trent Bolt out of this team. I think that I'm definitely a little out of my mind on that, but I'm trying to think of ways to keep. I'm thinking like, what if Tim David's also on fire? I think if Tim David's also on fire, you do sit Brevis. So maybe Perron, and maybe if Perron drops out of form, but I just don't see Perron leaving the team. And so I think it's going to come down to Brevis or Tim David, they've been marketing the heck out of Tim David. He's going to be in the team to start with, and he should.
Brevis is a guy they've taken everywhere too. So
right.
it's another question of where do they go in that aspect.
I think at this point, when you get to that point in the tournament, you do what's best for the team, and I think what's best for the team is definitely Rabada still in the team, Bolt still in the team, and we'll see Perron, David, or Brevis. One of them's going to have to give.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Again, it's not a bad problem to have. If all three are in hot form, it's not a bad option. I think the one thing going for a Nicholas Buran is, well, with Rashid Khan bowling, do you trust, in the nets, have you seen enough from Monak Patel to believe he can keep to Rashid Khan and pick the variations and, get all those things right? Because if not, Buran can come in and keep wicket. If Dewald Brevis, you mentioned, if he's scoring a lot of runs early, but also if he's taking wickets with the ball in hand, if the wickets are conducive for spin, then maybe you can afford to take out a Tim David and slide Buran into that spot, and Brevis stays at 3 just because of what he gives you with the ball. I think those things also play a factor, not just with the bat, but the keeping for Buran. And then if the bowling's going well for Brevis, it'd be hard to move off of just that option alone.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think it's pretty good. This looks like a good team. A lot of what this team's going to count on is a lot of almost all their domestics are coming back from Zimbabwe, maybe a little deflated, certainly very tired. They weren't sent first class by USA Cricket, to come back to the USA. I can guarantee you that. So they had a rough trip back, I'm sure. I've heard some of them saying as many as 50 hours back.
Yeah,
are they going to be ready to go? That's my biggest question. And you need to start hot in this league. You got to start hot. So that's to me the biggest thing is are the USA players going to be ready to go?
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's going to be the biggest question. And again, this team will be without Rashid Khan for the first part of the tournament. So starting hot is going to be a necessity to put themselves in a position to bring Rashid Khan back and compete. But those are our 2 11s. And so we just want to bring you this quick update. So much has been going on. We actually were at the US Masters T10 draft the other night, which was a really cool experience to be down there, Nate. I mean, so much has been going on in just a short period of time.
It's crazy. We can't even get our heads wrapped around everything. I don't have enough time to give everything the proper exposure that it needs because Major League is such a big thing right now. We've had all these events happening recently with the U19 men's nationals, which I wanted to cover more than I have, and I still have that article coming out soon.
It's coming. It'll be there.
But yeah, it's been a trick, man. It's been a real trick. There's been so much stuff happening in cricket in the USA, and it's going to continue after Major League Cricket. It'll continue with the T10 Masters. Now that's a league for people who are retired internationally. So we've already had some Harbhajan Singh is in the league.
Yeah.
So
Chris
we have
Gale.
right, and then also we've got overlapping a little at the end of this is the GT20, which we'll try to get capture some highlights or some keep people up to date on what's happening there, because we love the Canadians too. Why not shine a light on them? They're the future of Major League Cricket as well.
Yeah. No, it's again so much going on. And again, this week is a travel week for everybody. Everyone's getting down to Dallas for the grand opening of Major League Cricket at Grand Prairie View. It's going to be really spectacular to be down there. I know you're flying in that Thursday morning, so you're going to have a long day.
Yeah.
I'll be down there. Bobber Boy will be down there, the guy who's made all the productions possible. No Bobber today on the show because we have Zoom doing all the production for us, and then us in post doing the rest of the graphic work beyond that. But Nate, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Owen Patel, and thank you guys for joining us for what was a semi big inning.